right, thank you for your purchase of our Phits by Materialize custom orthotics here at Stretch Effect. We want to show you how to get these out of the box and get them into your shoe. And there's a little bit of a kind of build-up phase that we want to kind of desensitize the foot to wearing these on a daily basis, and we're going to show you how that's done. Okay, so first thing we want to get the orthotics out of the box here. Make sure you have two of them inside there. And first we'll grab one and just kind of get it moving, kind of flex it, and you'll feel how stiff that orthotic is. And then you also want to just take a peek at the top cover here, and that's going to be glued down to that 3D printed backing there. So that should fit nicely into our shoe. So what we want to do is take off our shoe first, and then we're going to take out the insole that's inside of our shoe to make room for our new custom orthotic. And so take that piece out and set that down, and then you'll take, and what you want to do is you want to really try to open up the shoe as much as possible so there's enough room to be able to shove that down in there. And so usually I'll hold the tongue there, and then you're going to use your hand to kind of push it down into the shoe. You just want to make sure that this piece doesn't curl up on you. So you'll kind of push it down into there and then guide it in nicely, and it should just slip right down into there. And then you'll want to go back down in with your hand and just kind of run it along the end of the shoe and just make sure everything lays down nicely. Just kind of smooth it all down, and then you'll go ahead and put the shoe on. Okay. And you want to lace it up real good. So a lot of times people will just barely tie it, or they'll just slip the shoe back on. You really want to make sure it's nice and snug on your foot there so that the orthotic can actually do its job. If the shoe's not tied, then your foot's going to be all over the place. So you want to make sure that, you know, it's well in there and nice and tight. And then let's go ahead, we'll do the other one as well. Same thing, just get it open real nice. Get the original insole out of there. Put the other one in, kind of lead it up all the way up towards the toe, and then push it down. And then once again, run your hand inside of it and just make sure that the top cover hasn't bound up in there by the toe. And then we'll go ahead and throw that on. Once again, lace them up real tight in there. The things you're trying to feel out for is to make sure you have enough room in the toe box to where you can wiggle your toes freely within there. Okay. The other thing you'll notice is sometimes in the orthotic, your heel will actually sit up a little bit higher in the shoe. So when you're walking around, you want to make sure you don't feel the rub of the shoe on your heel. So that's something you want to pay attention to. Normally what you're going to feel first is you're going to feel that arch support right away kind of pushing up. It's going to feel a little bit uncomfortable in the beginning, but over a few days that sensation will start to go away. If you're going from more of a barefoot style to the orthotic, it's going to be quite a big difference for you, so it will take a little bit more time to wear in. If you're going from an over-the-counter insert to that, you may not notice the change as much, but usually that's what people will feel most, is that arch support right away. What you want to feel for also is just make sure you don't feel like the orthotic is sliding within your shoe, or if you have a real big space up at the toe box there where you feel like your toes are kind of hanging over. Those are the things you want to really pay attention to. First thing. Okay, so kind of weight shifting back and forth a little bit there, and then you want to really focus on allowing that arch to collapse. You're just kind of wiggling the foot down and in, getting weight into the arch and the big toe, and then getting off of that arch as we go there. You'll kind of feel that as you do that, your legs start to internally rotate, you start to feel things wake up in your glutes a little bit more, and then sometimes I'll do a little side to side, so now I'm kind of bringing the hips into play a little bit. My weight will shift to the outside of my left foot, the arch of my right, and then when I come the other way, I'll feel arch of my left, outside of my right. So kind of getting everything to work together. I can also add in a little bit of rotational movement where now my pelvis is starting to rotate a little bit more in each direction. Once again, if I turn to the right, the arch is collapsing on my left, the weight is shifting to the outside of my right foot, and then I can go back the other way. Weight is in the outside of my left foot, arch of my right, and I can just kind of go back and forth and just start to feel that sensation in my foot. Good. And then from there, now we can go to more of a staggered stance where we're going to put our right foot forward. Now I'm just going to shift into my right side a little bit more, focus on collapsing the arch and then getting off the arch. You can also pay attention to your back leg, because as you're going into the arch on the right foot, the weight will shift to the outside of the left. So it'll go here, getting me ready to actually take a step forward with the left foot. So I accept the weight on my right foot, and then now this left foot is getting ready to propel me forward on to that next step. Okay, and then we would switch. Now you're focused on that left side, collapse that arch, down and in. Allow the weight to shift to the outside of your right foot as the weight is being accepting into the arch on the left. Okay, and then once again, now we're preparing to be able to bring that other foot forward. Okay. Then once we've kind of done some weight shifting and getting used to getting onto that arch a little bit more, now we want to pay attention to that while we're walking. So as I take a step, the weight will shift into the arch of my right foot. As I start to unload the left side, the weight will shift a little bit more to the outside of my right foot to keep me a little more stable when I'm here. And then now heel contact, allow that arch to accept the weight on the left foot. Weight is shifting towards the outside on my right, and then I'm bringing it through. So really, I want you to just pay attention to feeling that arch get down with each step, and then the back leg is just gonna kind of come along for the ride. Okay, and a lot of times people get so overly focused on their feet that they lock out their arms and don't move their upper body. So after you concentrate a few steps, then start to think about making it look a little more natural, really just swing the arms, and then just kind of check back in with the feet and make sure you're feeling that arch get down with every step. Okay. Okay, so after we've done all that, we just want to kind of pay attention to what we're feeling at the foot. So we want to pay attention if we're feeling anything sharp, if we're feeling any rubbing in certain areas of the foot, like we talked about earlier, not feeling like the heel sitting up too high on the shoe and it's rubbing on the back of the shoe. And then also just making sure we have enough room to wiggle those toes in the toe box. If not, we may need to look at some other shoe wear. Some of the adjustments that we're doing in the orthotics will do better in a shoe that has a little bit more cushion in the sole versus a minimalist shoe. So you may have to play around with that if you're a runner and going out for a long distance run. You may just need a little bit more shock absorption from the shoe. So we may need to discuss different shoe options that would benefit you, but those are the big things in the beginning, because we have a 60-day window where we can make changes if there is any issue. And so those first week or two is kind of when we're really going to know if this is going to be a good fit for us or if we need to make any changes. On the back of the box, it gives you kind of a build-up daily use chart, which will say day 1, we're looking at like an hour, day 2, 2 hours, day 3 and 4, 4 to 9 hours, day 5 up to 24 hours. It's not an exact science, so what I would say from that is that first day, you want to kind of wear them a little bit, you know, here and there, go for a little walk, kind of test them out, do a few things around the house, that's fine, and then get out of them. Put the over-the-counter things or the whatever came in the shoe back into the shoe for a little bit. Then that next day, maybe do a little bit more. Maybe go for a little longer walk. Maybe we're doing a little bit more activity around the house. If you want to do a light like upper body workout or something just to have them on, that would be great. And then by about day 3, 4, you could probably start wearing them a little bit more for a workout or going for a little longer walks. And then usually by day 4 or 5, you're in pretty good shape. Those people, like I said, that are going from a very minimalist shoe or barefoot style to something a little more aggressive, it may take a little bit longer, but usually day 3, 4, you're feeling pretty good. Will you get really sore if you just put them in right away? Some people do. Other people, like I said, they adapt pretty quickly. So just as a rule of thumb, say in day 1, you know, an hour or 2, day 2, a little bit more, and then by day 3 or 4, you should be okay to leave them in all the time. Even with that said, we definitely want to have a different stimulus for the foot so that it can adapt to all different surfaces. So even though we're putting you in an orthotic, we do want you to spend time barefoot. We do want you in some shoes that are maybe a little less aggressive, but then understanding what environments we need to have the orthotics in the shoe if we're doing a big stair workout or a very long distance hike. or a big leg day, you might need to have them in there for those specific movements and then spend time out of them. The other thing is foot care. We want to make sure we're rolling out the bottom of the foot. You can take a golf ball, lacrosse ball, and just spend a minute or two just rolling out the plantar surface of the foot, because it will start to get a little stiff and adapt to being in the orthotic. So you'll just want to take care of that overall foot health, and then thinking up the chain, spending a little time rolling out your hips and trying to get everything from the foot all the way up good and loose, so that that the foot can be successful and the whole rest of the chain can be successful no matter what the activity is you're doing. Good. And so the biggest thing is to let us know right away if you're feeling any of these things, whether we feel like there's just not enough room in the shoe for the orthotic, if you're feeling anything sharp pressing on different areas of your foot, if you're getting any shearing or rubbing in certain areas, or blisters are forming because of it. All these things we want to pay attention to and speak up right away so that we can help you with that. We have a 60-day window to be able to make any corrections, but we definitely want to hear much earlier than that. So like I said before, within that first week or two, you're going to know if there's some things we need to change. So please let us know right away, and we can let you know if that's something normal that you should feel, or if that's something we need to either not just make a change in the orthotic, or maybe a shoe thing that we need to make change in the shoe wear that we're putting the orthotic in. Because a lot of times you put a nice brand new orthotic in an old shoe and it's not going to help you out, because the shoe is what's actually the problem. So, so we can help you with recommendations on that as well. And once we get these orthotics in the shoe and we're starting to move around a little bit more, what people are noticing that it's starting to tap into different areas of their body that they didn't even know existed. So a lot of times the foot doesn't talk to the hip and the butt shuts off. So a lot of times people will feel, as soon as they put them in, start walking around, oh, I'm starting to feel some things more up into my hips and glutes. I feel my core is starting to engage a little bit more. So really the orthotic is a tool to be able to have the foot communicate with the rest of the body. So don't be alarmed if you're starting to feel muscles turning on, or feeling like, hey, I'm a little bit sore after a day or two up in my glutes, and that's completely normal. And the whole reason why we're putting this in the shoe is it's not a foot thing, it's how the foot can affect the rest of the chain. And so a lot of good things you should be feeling, but those things that don't feel so good, we need to know about right away and see if we need to make any change. All right, and if you're having any problems with the orthotic or any questions for us, you can reach us at hello@stretcheffect.com, or you can give us a call here at 858-404-6000, and we'll help you out.